to the budget for us, and we've heard from the politicians and the experts, but what would you like to see included in the budget? So I'm Jacked in Swindon this morning to find out what businesses and people are there want out of it. Simon.
Yeah, good morning. I'm here at the logistics centre for MAN Trucks, as you say, in Swindon. They sell parts for the trucks they make all around the world, like this, for example, this 8-wheeler here. This is on its way to Helmand Province. And I've been talking to big business, small businesses, and the people who work in those businesses to find out exactly what they want to hear from Alistair Darling later today.
I have met.
Now, in the light of those employment figures we've just had, another 177,000 people losing their jobs over the last 3 months, one of the big focuses for the Chancellor is going to be keeping people in their jobs. Now, they've employed 300 people here, 1,000 across the country. What can he do to stop that getting anywhere? They've had to lay 5% of the staff off. I'm joined by Des Evans, who's the Chief Executive here. As I say, Des, you've had to lay 5% off. What can the Chancellor do today to stop you having to lay off any more?
Well, our market is 45% down, and that's the reason why we've had to make cuts. But of more concern is the transport industry that we serve. There's 2.3 million people employed in the UK transport industry, 50,000 operators, and if there's a 10% cut in transport this year, you could be looking at 200,000 jobs lost at a cost of about $2 billion. To the Chancellor. So I think you've got to look after the transport operators.
And what does that mean in terms of measures he could take?
Well, I think the biggest measure he could take is fuel costs. That's the biggest cost of all transport operators, something like 40–50% of their costs. They pay the highest fuel duty in Europe, and we need to look at some form of fuel rebate to the transport operators.
Okay, now there's been a lot of talk also about scrapping cars and incentives to do that. Do you support that, and could you see something like that working in the truck industry?
Yeah, there's over 40,000 heavy trucks on the road of the UK that are over 8 years of age, and to be quite honest, they need to be scrapped. And there's enough new trucks and new emission standard trucks that we could supply and support straight away.
And all of these measures are actually going to cost money. I mean, how do you think that these are going to be funded? I mean, he hasn't got precious little money to spend.
I think the big change that they could bring about is VAT. I would not rule out a 5% increase in VAT across the board. That would certainly fund an essential user fuel rebate, and it would definitely fund a scrappage plan for up to 10,000 trucks. So that would be my recommendation. I think the other big issue is interest rates, because that's done a lot of damage to sterling, and we buy a lot of our components in euros, so we need some help to strengthen sterling, and I'd like to see a return to proper interest rates.
And one of the things he's going to be saying is trying to instill a bit of confidence for the future. He's going to say we've got to invest on the way out of the downturn. Do you see any confidence out there in the business community at the moment?
Quite frankly, no. And I think you've got to stimulate demand. Again, I come back to the interest rates. There's a lot of savers and pensioners that have had all their disposable incomes halved, and they need to restore some confidence in that. And I think, again, putting bank interest rates up to allow the pensioners and the savers to start spending again. They're also big spenders. We need to stimulate high street demand, we need to stimulate construction, we need to stimulate house building. That will all have a big effect on transport.
All right, Des, thanks very much indeed. Obviously the Chancellor can't do much directly about interest rates, but we may hear something, of course, on tax relief on savings income, but we'll find it all out at 12:30. Back to you.
Indeed, thanks very much, Simon.